Hello, welcome back to Healing Mama podcast. I am Val, aka Healing Mama. Today is episode 9, and I'm going to title it Grief Part 2. So, the last couple of weeks, I have been going through the loss of my grandmother. So, I know I've talked about her a lot in the podcast and how she was a part of my upbringing and how, she took me to church and she helped raise me, all of that stuff. And so 2 weeks ago, we were made aware that she wasn't doing too good. She was hospitalized. A lot was going on. And she was in Texas and I'm in California. So I jumped on the first flight out to Texas as soon as the doctors told me, hey, it's not looking too good. And we flew out there. I will give a huge kudos to my husband, who was supposed to start a new job, and he had to say, hey guys, I'm sorry, I have to reschedule. I hope that you'll keep me. But he decided to fly out with me to be my support system, and I am so grateful for that. There's a lot of people that I'm grateful for. Too many to name on here, but luckily I pre-record most of my videos for the most part, so I already had that week scheduled. I just needed to edit the week that was after that, so that really did help me. And so it looks like nothing happened, right? Like I didn't skip a beat, but in all reality, pre-recording helped me have the time that I needed to grieve and work through some things and not feel like I was going to let you guys down in some sense for not posting. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. This might be somewhat of a ramble. I just ask that you bear with me. My mind is kind of all over the place still. So I would say this is a part 2 to grief because this is recent. I know I did an episode on grief, and so now it being fresh, I want to see if I stay true to what I said and sort of a practice what you preach type of deal. But we'll get into it. So when my aunt called me 2 weeks ago on Monday, she let me know my grandma was in the hospital. I had been in touch with her every single day. She wasn't doing too good. I kept telling her like, hey, I need you to get better. If you're not better by Monday, I need you to go to the doctor. She kept refusing to go to the hospital. I feel like she knew if she was going to go, she wasn't going to come back out. And so I feel like that's really why she was pushing not to go. But fast forward, I get a call from my aunt and she has the doctors on the phone. And she's basically hands it over and they're telling me the situation. So right at that moment, I broke down, right? I broke down because one, I'm so far away, I can't get to her and be there to hold her hand. And I also needed my hand held. I wanted to hold my grandma's hand and feel like she was holding mine. And I was so far away and I couldn't do that. And just hearing, your grandma's not going to make it. We give her X amount of days, hours, whatever the case is. That was tough. So I broke down and, I started crying. I went upstairs. I told my kids, like, hey, I need you to get your stuff. We got to go. Sunshine's in the hospital. This is what they said. And my world was spinning. And I, for a second, lost sight of the fact that I could control my emotions. And so I started to write as I was just going through a whirlwind of things. So usually I start off with an opening quote. This one is what I read at her funeral. So it's what I was kind of jotting down and writing from the time I found out and spoke to the doctors myself to the time that I lost her and after. So I will go ahead and get started. What do you do when your heart's in pain? When the seconds feel like hours and each breath feels like a struggle? What do you do when your world spins and there's nothing around you to hold on to. Here's what I'll do. I will remember the greatness, the love, the light that she brought into this world. From the very beginning, she showed me her love in so many ways. I was her church buddy, always by her side on those early Sunday mornings as we picked up the hermanas who needed a ride to church. Because of my grandma, I was loved, spoiled, and blessed by so many people, including the elders at church. She was the very foundation of my heart. I remember when I was little how she would sit in her rocking chair and I would run towards her, pretending to run as fast as I could to jump onto her lap, and then stopping right before to settle in softly. Those moments are etched in my memory forever. And then there's a time I asked her to pray over my apartment. There was an angry spirit in the restroom and I was terrified. She came over, no questions asked. After she finished praying, as she was walking out, the restroom door started to shake in anger. I was ready to run for the front door, but not her. She turned around like a spiritual warrior that she was and slammed that door open, praying louder than ever, casting the spirit out. She was fearless. I could tell you story after story of her strength, her love, her unwavering faith. But one thing is for sure. I was the luckiest granddaughter in the world to have her in my life. She was my guide, my protector, my constant source of love. Right now my heart is in pain, but I know that I will carry her with me always. Grandma, I love you more than words can ever express. With my whole heart, from the deepest part of my soul, I will miss calling you every day, sending you pictures of my new plants, asking you for your gardening tips. But I promise you this, I will carry you with me in spirit, and when I'm gardening, tending to the plants, I know you'll be right there with me. When I feel a cool breeze, I will know it's you. And on a sunny blue sky day, I'll look up knowing you're watching over me. Until we meet again, my sweet angel, I love you with all my heart. Hug my other angels for me. So I read that at her funeral, and I will tell you guys, it was a lot to process throughout the week that I was in the hospital with her. So I went to Texas, and I got to Texas on Monday, and then we went straight to the hospital as soon as we landed, and she passed away Friday morning, early Friday morning. I didn't want to leave her side while I was there, because I didn't want her to pass while I was away. I know that that has happened to a lot of people. I hear the stories. It's happened to my mother-in-law with her dad, and I didn't want to leave. So a couple nights there at the hospital, I slept on the chairs because I didn't want to leave her side. And so when I got there, it was hard to see. It was hard to see the way she looked and how sick she had gotten in 4 days, how skinny she was, and it was very hard. And the entire time on the way to the airport, when I started to kind of center myself and not let the emotions take full control of me, because that's what old Val would do. And I will tell you guys, I had said it for years. I would tell people, you think I took my grandpa's loss hard? Just wait till I lose my grandma. I'm gonna be a mess. And I can tell you, yes, I'm hurting, but the level of a mess that I thought I was going to be isn't the case, and I'll tell you why. It's not that I don't love my grandma, because I love her with my whole heart. But like my cousin told me, she said, hey, you know what? I really think you started this healing journey at the right time. Because if I didn't, I think I would have crumbled. I don't think I would have been able to get out of bed. I think that I would have not been able to be strong for my loved ones, my mom. And so I do feel like she was right when she told me that. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I agree. Like, I do feel that me working through this healing journey and me opening myself up to life and afterlife and looking deep into it, and me feeling like this isn't the end. Yes, our physical body gave out on us, but our spiritual body, our spiritual being, our soul still continues. I think that that really helped me. And so while we were driving to the airport, I just remembered really trying to get back to center and to breathe and to really work on just controlling my emotions. And so I kept telling God, asking my higher power, who is God for me, please, please hold my hand through this. I can't do it if you don't hold my hand. Just hold my hand through this. That's all I need. I'm not asking to change your will. I'm not asking for anything else, but I need you to hold my hand. And secondly, I need you to hold her hand. So the entire time I just keep repeating, hold my hand through it, hold her hand through it, hold our hands. Just on the plane ride, which is a 3-hour plane ride, which felt like an eternity. I felt like that was like a 12-hour plane ride because I was just trying to get to my grandma right away. And so this might be kind of all over the place. I'm going from when I heard to when I was there to when she passed. So please just bear with me. Like I said, my mind is kind of scattered. And so when I got there, I held her hand and I told her, thank you. Thank you for holding on for me. Not that she was holding on for me in particular, right? She didn't pass right after. And so when I got there, I held her hand. I talked to her a little bit. And I told her, you know, you don't have to be strong anymore. You have fought so much in this lifetime. You have been so strong. The last year, she really had gone through, I would say a year and a half, honestly. She had gone through so much health-wise, and she had been battling and battling and battling. And I kept telling her, you're my warrior princess. And so I told her, you've done good. You've fought, and you don't have to fight anymore. You can go in peace, and you don't have to fight. And that hurt me to tell my grandma, right? Because I know that if she goes, I'm gonna hurt. I don't want her to go. But I kept telling myself, I would rather hurt than to see her hurt. I would rather go through the pain than to see her in pain, to see her uncomfortable, to see everything that was happening to her. And I just kept praying and talking to God and just leaning in on my meditations while I could remember, because I will be fully transparent with you guys. In the heat of what was going on, it was so hard to fill my cup, so hard to take care of me, because I wanted to be there for my grandma. I wanted to be strong for my mom and my family. And I felt like I did put myself on the back burner. So this was like an eye-opener that when times are getting tough, I do put myself on the back burner. And I didn't meditate as much, and I didn't take care of myself. I didn't want to go home to shower. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to be at the hospital and make sure that I could get to her at the drop of a dime. It was really hard seeing her the way she was, so I wasn't in the room 24/7. I would go in from time to time periodically throughout the day when she was, alone, or we didn't want her to be alone, but when she had time where people were going in and out and nobody was there, I would want to make sure she wasn't by herself. So I would go into the room, hold her hand, I would talk to her. But I didn't want to leave, right? I didn't want to take care of myself. And all in all, when I look back at what I felt grief was and how to process grief, I feel like I still stay true to that, in the sense of, I know that my grandma isn't physically here anymore. And it's something that I am learning to adjust to. And it's like I told my husband, grief is still the same definition for me. It's all this love that I have inside of me that has nowhere to go. I don't have her to give it to anymore. So there's the grief portion, and then there is the spiritual part of it. So grief wise, I'm still grieving, right? I still have so much love to give to her, and she's not here. I still want to pick up the phone in the middle of the day and call her, and I can't do that. So it's having to unlearn everything that I did, my daily routine. And so my daily routine Monday through Friday was to call her in between my day, in between my calls, and check in and see how she's doing, talk to her about what her week looked like, what doctor's appointments she had, talk to her about my plans. And so now I can't do that. And that hurts. But when it starts to hurt me, I tell myself, I can still talk to her. I can still hold her in my spirit. I can still carry her with me. And that does bring me peace. Peace 100%. I'm going to be honest with you. I still have moments where I hurt. But when I do start to feel like, hey, I'm supposed to call grandma at this time and she's not here, and I start to get in my feelings, I talk to her. I will go outside and I'll water my plants and I'll talk to her. I'll talk to her in my mind. My husband put a picture, and I go like this because it's right here. My aunt did an amazing thing for me, my mom and my daughter and my mother-in-law. So my grandma was your typical Mexican grandma. She was the cutest little grandma anyone could ask for. Loved by anyone and everyone that came across her path. And she wore, I would say, every day other than church days or doctor's appointments, she would wear Mexican dresses. And that's probably because, honestly, sometimes she probably even wore her Mexican dress to doctor's appointments. She would just throw a coat over it. But she had all different colors of Mexican dresses. That was her vibe. That was her style. And so when she passed, I told my mom, I don't want anything, just a Mexican dress. If you could give me one Mexican dress, that will be the world. That would mean the world to me. And so my mom gave me 2 Mexican dresses, one for her, one for me. And then when I was there at her house, my aunt had given me another Mexican dress. So I had 3 in total. One I kept intact, and I sprayed her perfume on it. That one I won't touch. The other 2, one for my mom, one was for me and my daughter. My aunt, who supports me on this, Thea, thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for being there when I needed someone to make a pillow for us. Thank you for showing up at the service, and I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. She was kind enough to make a pillow out of the dresses. So I had posted on Facebook, hey, I'm really looking for somebody who can make a pillow out of a dress. And so my tia told me, I'm not a professional, but I will do it and I'll put love into it. And so she definitely did put so much love into it. She made, like I said, one for myself, my daughter, my mom, and a little pillow for my mother-in-law, who is very close to my grandma. And on top of that, she was kind enough to put some pictures in a frame along with pieces of the dress for me. And I'm just looking up at it because my husband put it right by my desk. And so when I am missing my grandma and I feel like I want to call her, I look up at that picture and I talk to her, and I can feel her with me. And I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional. I will keep myself together. But I look at this picture and I talk to it, and I just tell her, like, hey, I know you're free. Just know that I miss you, and continue to watch over us. And specifically continue to watch over my mom and hold her hand through this. Because I have heard before, and I don't know if I mentioned this in the other episode, but I heard that when our loved ones pass on, that the ones who have passed and gone before them help guide them into that next phase, right? And I believe that with all my heart. And so I reached out during meditation to my loved ones, and I just really tried to channel them. And I told them, hey, like, please hold my grandma's hand through this. And I feel like they do hold our loved one's hand through that transition. And so as much as I talked to my loved ones that have passed, and I asked them to hold her hand through the transition, I talk to her now, and I tell her to hold my mom's hand, to hold my hand, and to watch over us, because I do feel like after we pass on, we continue to exist. I don't feel like after we pass that that's it. And I think that that's something else that remains the same from my previous video. Before, I think I was mentioning that before my cousin had passed, I was searching and searching and searching for what happens after the afterlife. I don't really feel like I had a strong belief. I grew up in a religion of Christianity where we believe in heaven and hell, and I don't even believe that I had a strong belief of that. So I was searching and searching for what happens, because I wasn't strong in what I believed. Now I do feel strong in what I believe. I believe from the bottom of my heart that while our physical body might give up on us, that our soul never dies, that our spirit never dies, and that it goes on. And so I know without a shadow of a doubt in my heart, and I believe that my grandma goes on. I believe that her spirit continues to be, and that helps me, that gives me peace. And I really think that if I didn't believe that and I didn't feel that, that I would be lost and that I would be broken and that I would probably not get out of bed in the morning. And I want to tell you that if you're going through grief, it's okay to be in your emotions. It's okay to feel. I will tell you, the first night that I went home after the hospital, my grandma passed in the morning, we left in the afternoon, I fell asleep. From the time that I got home and I laid my head on the pillow, my husband said, "I'd never seen you fall asleep so fast." And I think my body needed rest. My soul needed rest. And so I fell asleep and I slept most of the day. And when I woke up, it hit me, right? My grandma's really not here. Like, I'm at my mother-in-law's house sleeping. That means I'm not at the hospital. That means my grandma's not here. And so my cousin reached out to me and she's like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I said, "Honestly, I feel like screaming. Like, I just want to scream." And she said, "Scream, scream." And I got that text message. I'm like, you know what? She's right. Like, this is energy that I have to release. Like, it's okay for me to hurt. It's okay for me to feel. I'm human. And so, of course, I did scream. I waited for my husband to walk away. He was making dinner. He was in the front side of the house. And I put my face in the pillow and I screamed as loud as I could for as long as I could. And it helped me, right? It helped me because I had all of that pent up. And I want to tell you that if you're grieving, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad for yourself that you don't have that person, and that love that you have kind of stays in you because you don't have anywhere for it to go. It's okay to feel that, right? But don't let it stay in your body. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to cry, cry. Crying is a way of our body releasing that emotion, releasing that energy. And so do what you need to do to take care of yourself. But I also follow that up with whatever your beliefs and thoughts are on the afterlife, stay grounded in that, because I feel like that's what's held me through, right? If you believe in heaven and you believe that your loved one went to heaven, stay grounded in that. If you believe in we continue on, our spirit, our soul continues, believe in that. If you believe in reincarnation, believe in that. Stay grounded to whatever you believe in, because that's what's going to get you through this, and that's what's going to really help you know and see that your loved ones are still with you and you can still channel them and carry them in your soul, in your spirit. I lost my beautiful grandma on August 22nd, 2025 in the early morning, and I'm not the same, right? I'm not the same. I have an emptiness inside of me, which I know will heal in time because this is new. This is a fresh wound. But I know that she still lives on. And I know that her spirit continues. And I know that she's watching over us. And I know that when I need to, I can talk to her. And that brings me peace. And that helps me get through this. So I just send you love. If you are listening and you're grieving the loss of someone and you're hurting, I just challenge you to talk to them, carry them in your spirit, and let them know that you miss them, and talk to them and ask them to hold your hand through this journey, and we can get through it. I am blessed to have had such an amazing grandma in my life. She gave me more love than I could have ever asked for or imagined. And I know that she will continue to love me from beyond. And I can feel it. And I will carry it with me. And I will think of her always, every single day, and carry her in my heart. And I love you guys so much. And I send you love, peace, joy, positivity. And until next time, I hope you have a great one. Bye, guys.